Hello, football loving worldwide web. Welcome to the Soccer Podcast with no name. My name is Cheez. I'm joined here by my co-host, DaBongz. DaBongz, how are you?
Yeah, what's up, Mr. Cheez? I'm good on yourself, brother.
No, DaBongz, I'm always good. Let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into the weekend's headlines. Let's start with Kaizer Chiefs. Chiefs twice squandered a lead and eventually lost 3-2 to struggling Golden Arrows last Sunday. Who deserves more of the blame pie? Arthur Zwane or the players?
Yeah, look, without wasting any time, look, it was firstly let's just admire the fact that it was a beautiful game. It was a decent game to watch on TV for spectators, for supporters of Golden Arrows and even Chiefs supporters. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, the results as a Kosi supporter were not desirable. But getting into that game, I think that excuse me. I think that it's too harsh to try and blame Arthur Zwane solely for me because the players are the ones on the field, and we, as the season began, we saw how Arthur Zwane was trying to implement his play of quick playing, using the young players, to move between the channels, trying to connect with quick passing, almost a style similar to a Barcelona style. But the only thing is that obviously it's clear now that we see that he's trying something that he has never done before. And I think that lack of experience as a coach is what's making him fail and getting these results that are on and off, because at some moments you can see that Kaizer Chiefs are playing very well. They are connecting very well through the passing channels, as I mentioned, through the final third. They are getting to the final third, but at times when they're supposed to execute, they're not executing well. So when they're supposed to pass, they're not passing. Execution is poor. Balls are flying over the post. And players like Dolly, who should be experienced, are, chipping the keeper, is hitting the post. You convert such a chance, you don't make a mistake like that. At the end of the day, I think a combination of things are letting Chiefs down, but I do think they're in the right direction. Hence, I say, for me, it's not about blaming Arthur Zwane solely, but it's also putting the blame on the players, but mostly because obviously he's the coach. He's supposed to lead these guys and show them what to do. I think that he needs to tweak his formations, because I feel like the one he's using is not really working. Maybe try a 3-5-2, be courageous, play three at the back, and have two strikers in front, and maybe you'll have better luck. So for me, I think it's an overall blame on both the players and the coach, and I think that they need to do more.
You Kaizer Chiefs fans are very funny. When it was Ernst Middendorp, he lost the title on the last day, it was his fault. When it was Kevin Hunt, who took you to the Champions League final, but he didn't perform well in the league, it was his fault. When you brought back your savior, Stuart Baxter, and he didn't perform well, it was his fault. Now, with Arthur Zwane, it's his fault again. When is it ever the player's fault? He's not the one on the field missing chances, like you said, chances that a player of Keegan Dolly's quality and quality of the other international players, they should be scoring these opportunities, but they are not scoring these opportunities. Then you guys have the goal to blame Arthur Zwane after that. I don't give Arthur Zwane the blame. Okay, let me say I give him 30% of the blame. The rest, 70%, goes to the players. They should be performing better. You have internationals like Hlanti, he's a former Bafana player. You have Bimenyimana, you have Saile, you have Dolly, you have Billiard. All these players are full internationals, but they're not performing well for Kaizer Chiefs. Yes, you are right. They do have some young players that are inexperienced, but these players should be doing better.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a difficult one, but at the end of the day, that's what it is. And the results and the scoreboard is the only one that counts, whether we think it's the player or the coach. 3-2 down for Kaizer Chiefs. And we move on to our second point. Monnapule Saleng continued his great form, whilst Thembinkosi Lorch struggled in Orlando Pirates' 2-0 victory against Maritzburg United. Obviously, some fans already hailing Saleng as the Pirates' best player in a while. Is it time for Lorch to hand over the reins to Monnapule? Has he done enough?
Monnapule Saleng at the moment is Orlando Pirates' best player. As an Orlando Pirates supporter, I have to give it up to the guy. He made players like Andile Jali eat grass, and we haven't seen Andile Jali since then, or he's been on and off in a Sundowns jersey since that day. Monnapule made him eat grass. But I have to say that Lorch is too much quality. Lorch, he's coming from a long-term injury that has kept him out a long time, and I can never disrespect Lorch like that and say that he must hand over the race to Monnapule Saleng. Monnapule Saleng has only been performing like this for the past couple of months. Lorch has done it over the years for Orlando Pirates. So please, Orlando Pirates supporters, do not respect Thembinkosi Lorch because he has done too much for this club. Monnapule Saleng is quality. The left foot of his, he's via set pieces, via taking shots from long range, via assists. He's a very good player. But Thembinkosi Lorch, for me, is still Orlando Pirates' best player.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. Look, for me, Mr. Cheez, man, it's about the current and what is happening now. History is great. It's like saying Ronaldinho was a great player, but today he's not playing. We're not seeing him on screen, so he's not important. So at the end of the day, for me, for Orlando Pirates supporters, if you are one, I think you should look forward to having Monnapule Saleng taking over. He has been doing very well for Orlando Pirates, obviously since they've given him a chance. There are many players that they gave a chance, including the player that at some point was a demise for Kaizer Chiefs in their game against Golden Arrows. That young man that was at Paris now is back there, Golden Arrows, but he failed to make an impact. Where Monnapule Saleng got in there, he's playing those passes. We can see his movements. We can see final third. His decision making is crucial. We're not saying Thembinkosi Lorch is not quality, like you are saying. I agree with that part. His quality has been doing it for a while, but at the end of the day, it is the new and hip and happening that we are talking about. If you are not hip and happening, take a back seat. So I think for me, Monnapule is the future. And think he's making Orlando Pirates tick. But let's not forget Lorch, quality player. For me, I think a combination of the two players, if the coach can find a way to use them effectively, including other players, he may have something there. And remember, we've been waiting for Pirates to do something. It's been a while now. They bought these players, new players. Nothing has happened. We want to see them moving forward. So I say stick to what is working, and Monnapule Saleng is working.
Bongs, don't worry about Pirates. Next season is our season. Operation Tata Zonke. Anyway, Cassius Mailula and Mamelodi Sundowns have won their first two group stage matches in the CAF Champions League. Will this season be a failure if Sundowns don't win the Champions League?
Yeah, look, for me, let's get one thing straight. Mamelodi Sundowns are a quality side. They've been doing so for a while now. It is evident on paper, it is evident on the field. And I think despite opinions, everyone knows that they're a quality side with a lot of players that I believe maybe 2 or 3 teams, they can field almost 3 different teams and they would still be quality. So for me, I think that we have to judge them for the level of play they are in, and they've been in the Champions League for a while. And now at least 3 seasons where they've done well since they've won it. Finished maybe the other season being beaten by Al Ahly, and once again, trying to get there, falling maybe in the semi-finals and so forth. So I think at the end of the day, it's fair to judge them to those standards. And so for me, if they fail to win the Champions League this season, it's a big failure. Again, it's not just a big failure, but I think it's important to note that when they won the league, Pitso was there, if I'm not mistaken. And when he left, they said the Sundowns might be different. They've maintained their brilliance, and now it's time for, importantly, for the current coach now to show that he is able to win the same trophy for Sundowns and bring that second star. So for me, if they fail to win it, it's a failure in many ways, more than one.
Mamelodi Sundowns have not won the CAF Champions League for 8 years. An 8-year-old child is in grade 2. So that tells you that it's a very long time that they haven't won the CAF Champions League. We cannot judge them on them winning the DStv Premiership because the DStv Premiership's quality is way too low. They are wiping the floor with each and every team. They should be winning every single cup, every single season domestically. Anyway, in the continental competition, like you are saying, it will be a massive failure if they do not win this. Al Ahly has been giving them problems. Every time they meet Al Ahly, it seems like they shrivel up and they don't play as well as we know them to play, or maybe Al Ahly are just a better team, who knows. But Mamelodi Sundowns can only be judged in South Africa if they win the CAF Champions League or not. The team knows that. The coach Rulani knows that. The player knows that. That's why they buy every player that's available, every good player available. That's why they're buying every team's best player so they can win the CAF Champions League. That's why Motsepe takes out all this money so they can win the CAF Champions League. If they don't do it this season, it is a failure.
In the race for the English Premier League, Arsenal boosted their title hopes with a dramatic late double to settle a thrilling win against Aston Villa. Manchester City misses the opportunity, obviously, to return to the top as Chris Wood's late goal ends Nottingham Forest a point, which I think was a great match. As of today, who do you think, who do you have your money on, rather, on winning the English Premier League, and why?
If I was a betting man, if I had money, which I am not a betting man and I do not have money, but if this was if this was the case, I'd bet my money on Arsenal. Manchester City have proven this season that they cannot deal with the pressure. We know Pep Guardiola's teams, they come through in the end, but this season they've just been disappointing. I mean, they had just beaten Arsenal. You think that from there they'll just move on and obliterate everybody in their way, but they are not doing that now. How could you draw against Nottingham Forest? I mean, Nottingham Forest signed, 100 players at the beginning of the season, and the team chemistry, yes, is starting to improve now, but at the end of the day, they are still Nottingham Forest. Arsenal, they proved their side that is very resilient. It was a tough game against Aston Villa. They came back and they won in the dying moments of the game. I think Arteta has proven himself as a very good coach, and he has them mentally there where they need to be to win the championship this season. So if I was a betting man now, I was going to bet all my money on Arsenal winning the championship.
I'll agree with one thing: great match to witness. Obviously, I'm not an Arsenal supporter, but when I watched that match, I was very impressed with Arsenal and the way they played. Like you mentioned, their resilience and their fighting spirit, obviously, till the last, because obviously those 2 goals came, if I'm not mistaken, I believe in the last 5 minutes when the game was finishing. Everyone was expecting it to be a draw, but they obviously then won it 4-2. For someone who didn't watch the match and saw a 2-2 scoreline before the match finished, went away maybe to make some coffee when they came back to check the score. It was 4-2. It doesn't resemble what was happening in the match. But obviously, like I said, through watching, I think Arsenal have done great. They've done so all season long, in my opinion. And I think Arteta has done a great job. Many coaches probably want to be like him. They tried and failed. Paul Lampard, they came, they failed. Zwane, they are trying. We can't say he failed because the season is not finished. But yeah, many coaches are trying to do that. But I think Arteta has got it right. Arsenal have given him the chance. They trusted in him, and he's delivering the results. We all thought it was a fluke when Arsenal was playing great at the beginning of the season, but I think this is their season. And if they can maintain the way they play with that resilience and that spirit, I think they might as well win the league. I think I would support that myself. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it would be lovely for them to continue and go on to win the Premier League, but not to downplay Man City, Manchester United, or any of the other teams, because they're also doing great. As you mentioned, Man City also beating Arsenal to show that they are still a great team. Maybe there are shortfalls here and there, but I do think it will be an interesting season. As for me, will they win the league? I would like for them to win the league, but I'm not going to bet on Arsenal winning the league. I think this will be a hot race till the finish.
As a person who doesn't want Arsenal to win the league, I am betting, or I am hoping that I am jinxing them by saying they're going to win. Let's move on. Marcus Rashford has now scored 16 goals in 17 appearances in all competitions since the World Cup, after netting twice in United's 3-0 win over Leicester City on Sunday. No striker in Europe has scored as many. Is this an incredible purple patch for Marcus Rashford, or is he this player now?
Look, for me, I think we must give credit where credit is due. As I mentioned, nowadays, what is current is what is important, and what is important for me is that Rashford is playing very well at Manchester United. He's even donning the number 10 jersey, and it's quite clear now to see why he dons that jersey or that number. I think he's doing very well. You can credit to whatever you want to credit it to. Benny McCarthy helping him strike, or maybe the temperament and the living of Ronaldo. Maybe it might be that he now has a chance to play without having to being under the shadow of Ronaldo. Whatever you might want to term the reason for his performance, I think it's good for him now. I think he's this player now because you are only as best as as good as your last match. And like you're saying, 16 goals in 17 appearances. Clearly, for the past 5 matches, in fact, or 6 matches, he's been that player. Sure enough, that's not a fluke. And for me, I think he's young. He's in the form of his life. Maybe he can get better. We don't know. It would be great to see him get better, to resemble the likes of Ronaldo when they were at United, Messi when he was at his prime at Barcelona. So at the end of the day, it can't be a bad thing. And I fully support Marcus Rashford's form. And I think that he should keep going. And I believe he is the player he is now.
Here are a few stats that sum up how brilliant Rashford has been of late. He has scored, of course, 16 in 17 appearances. PSG's front three of Messi, Mbappe, Neymar have not scored as many goals since the World Cup. He has 4 assists in that period. He's averaging a goal every 79 minutes, assist every 63 minutes since the World Cup. This is his best scoring season. He scored 5 times as many goals as he managed last season. He's only failed to score or assist in 2 of the 17 games since the World Cup. So, like you're saying, it's been a purple patch for him, an incredible run for him during this time. Is he this type of player now? I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that this is the case. You never know. Stuff like injuries, knock on wood, that could happen. We can see he's a player that works on confidence. Even when his confidence is low, he doesn't seem to perform as well. So I'm not ready to say he is that player now, but I'm ready to say that he's reached a whole new level. And if he continues this, I'm sure by next season, he'll be a Ballon d'Or level player. Anyway, that's it from us. Thank you for joining us for the football podcast with No Name. And we hope you join us again next week. From me, Cheez, it's goodbye. Bonks.
Yeah, no, an incredible one. And also for me, I think it's been great. The sports, the football is happening. Let's meet in the next one to, analyze and speak about the brilliancy of this game that we love. So it's also from me a good sayonara until the next one. And always remember, this is the show without a name.